Hello, my name is James and welcome back to Growers Farm. It is September the 5th and today, finally, we're getting this piece of kit out and getting started on the harvest. So, yeah, this is our brand new combine for this season. This is our TC590 and we are going to be getting this out and we're going to start on field 7, which is our field of wheat. It is a case of, well, actually, Mark is already down there. He's already sorting out. Well, he's already ready to start carting. I've just got to get the combine out of the shed and get it down to the field. I'm using our 8650 here. This is our 8650, isn't it? Yeah. All right. Sorry, our 8560 here. Always get my numbers muddled up. I'm a little bit dyslexic that way. But yeah, we're using our New Holland here to hook up to the trailer, because getting the combine in here to hook it up is a little bit more of a faff, and trying to get it round. But once we've got the trailer out, we'll hook it up to the combine itself, and that will be all good. I just want to get myself in a position where we can hook it up. There we go. And yeah, and the reason we're starting with the wheat, because all of our grain crops have actually come ripe in the last sort of 48 hours. They're all sort of, well, it's not immediately in the last 48 hours, but they've become ripe enough for me to start harvesting. They are all we need straw for our cows. So my plan very much is to get the wheat done today. We need to come further back. The wheat done today, and then what we can do is next time we will be able to get that baled, and then over the course of the next week or so, we're gonna get the other fields harvested. So should be good. We're in for a dry spell for a bit, which makes a little change up here in Scotland. And as I said before, it is mid-September and we're only just, well, early September, sorry, and we're only just starting the harvest. That is not abnormal for up here. It takes a little bit longer for our crops to grow, and then when we do it, we hope for that dry spell, that week or two, where we can actually get it harvested, and yeah, and we crack on with it. So hopefully that won't take us too long. So let's get the combine hooked up, and we can crack on with the headlands on this field. Now I'm very wary of the bales here. We should be all okay for those. Those are well out of our way for the field. And yeah, I think with the yield on here is looking quite good. I've seen a few weeds in the field while I was inspecting it, as to whether it was ready to harvest or not. Oh, let's lift that up before I try and connect the PTO. There we go, and we'll connect up our PTO. All good. Drag it out. Let's check it's all working. Yep, that is all up and working fine. So we're going to head into the field and start getting it cut. We're going to start this way, and we're going to start with our auger into the field. And as we go around the field, my reasoning for doing this will become more and more apparent. Because this field, more than any other, has a lot of low-hanging branches very, very close to the side of the field. Now, at this end of the field, it's not so bad. They get a bit close. Down the bottom end, we start seeing them encroach towards the combine a bit, and what we really don't want to do with our auger is a dent or bend the auger, because that will stop the screw turning inside it. And if the screw stops turning inside it, then we end up with a problem. We end up being unable to unload our crop. So that would be a big issue, and I really want to avoid it, especially this early into the season with a brand new combine. It wouldn't be good to have it to go into maintenance like that early. We are dropping straw behind us. That is good. We're gonna want to bale all of that up later. And yeah, this is going well. This is looking like quite a nice dense crop of wheat we're pulling up here, or that we're cutting here. We are already 30% full in our grain tank. It seems to be going in quite nicely there. I do want to just check quickly. How's our... don't seem to be dropping a lot of grain inside our crops either, or out of our swath at the back, so that's good news. Looks like she's cutting nicely. Looks like she is cutting very, very nicely. So yeah, this is looking like being a good yield and a good amount of grain off here. I think we're going to end up with a full tank before we get past our first headland, which is good news. We're going to take 4 headlands off this field, and I think what I'm going to do as well is before we bale it, we'll run the windrower over it. And actually, you can begin to see now why I don't want the auger towards the side of the field. That is some really, really low-hanging trees. In fact, I need to cut around those. Otherwise, we're going to do combine some damage as well. It's one problem of sort of cutting or having stuff done so far under the trees. I really don't want to whack the combine with it. We will lose some crop due to it, but not much I can do about that. Yeah, it is the problem with getting it. You know, we can get the seeder under those trees. We can't get the combine under them, and it's the same for this bit here. You can see here, even here. Well, here it was so dark that the seeds couldn't even germinate. So yeah, that's the thing. We need to protect the combine as much as we can. Right, we're coming up to the side here, and I'm going to pull out of the field at the end, and hopefully our tractor and trailer will should be following behind us, ready to empty. In fact, that's not going to be far behind at all now. There it is. Why is he sitting there? Maybe I've not put my beacons on. I think Mark has fallen asleep at the wheel, you know. Right, I'm gonna have to go and check out what's up with Mark. I'm just gonna move the combine into a position where we should be able to empty it. Because it's quite difficult to maneuver in this space. Actually, let's squeeze down the side of the field here. Quite nice. The side of the field here has a little bit of space I can squeeze down. And we'll just go and check everything's all right with Mark, because that's a little bit worrying that he's not moved. Right, I'm going to check he's okay, and we'll be back in a minute. Okay, I've had a word with Mark. He seems to be okay. Just hadn't realised that I was as full as I was. So I'm just going to manoeuvre the combine round and empty it out, and then he'll continue on from there. We should be able to. What I'll probably do, I think, is we've not got any trees in the way on that last little bit, so I'm gonna go and a little bit over the back. There we go. So I'm gonna go and cut back into the field at that top end there, and we'll go from there. Right, there we go. We're empty. He's off to move out the way, and I'm going to head back up the field and sort this. And as I said, I don't think we've got anything particularly bad here. So I'm going to cut in. Yeah, we're well away from the tree line. To have fit the combine down the side there, we're well away from the tree line. And this will just clear things up a little bit, like so. There we are. And then we can cut back in at this corner here. Into the second headland, and yeah, we're going to empty at this point here. Nice and easy stretch this, really. And that makes it, that will work well. It will keep us going probably round the rest of the field. Hopefully. And I want to kind of empty him before this turning, because it gets a little bit more tricking on there. There we go. And that's done. And then that means that we've got a nice clear run around the second headland on this field. So we're going to get 4 of these out, get 4 of these cut. It'll make it easier for us to turn around at the ends, and will also make it easier for the carting tractor to turn around at the end. So it's really a case of just keeping this going and keeping us moving and keeping him moving. So yeah, I'm just keeping, basically it's can we keep the flow of this harvest going? Can we keep this field and coming up nicely, especially with such a good yield like this? As I said, we still have a few patches of weed in here, but nothing particularly horrible. They seem to have crept in the final stage of growth, but that's kind of to be expected. We did put herbicide on, but sometimes it doesn't get everything. So yeah, you take what you can from it. And we're gonna see on that first run that we had around the field, you'll be able to see now where we've had to sort of avoid tree bits and how much crop we lose under those trees. And there would be no way of getting them in. I could stick the could try and stick the header under the trees, but as I want to avoid doing too much damage, or doing any damage actually for that matter, to the combine. And you see, we just cannot get under those trees at all to get that crop out. It would just, yeah, it would cost us more than it's worth. So we have to try and avoid going under there. It's not a huge amount. You can see it's just sort of the very edge of the field that we miss, but it's enough. And I you know, I don't. This is my new toy. This is my new combine. I don't want to be damaging this. It makes very little sense to be doing that on our first season with it. So yeah, we'll keep it going. He's sitting over the other side of the field there, I think. Yeah. I want to turn my beacons off because I don't want him to think that we have a need for the refill or the empty. And we can almost get round this field with a with one tank. And that's the beauty of it. We've emptied at a point that should allow us to get round and back to that first bit to empty again, and just make it easier to do all of that kind of stuff. We are going to put the beacons on in a moment because we're coming up to it. Yeah, there we go. I'll signal to him, get my beacons on, and he can see that I'm ready to empty. Lift that up, put it down, and yeah, he's on his way around the field. Excellent. And in fact, there he is. He has made it all the way around. I would like, no, we'll empty along here. We'll make this easy. Here he comes. Nicely done. And away we go. There we are. And we'll see if we can turn the corner with this. Would be good. Right. And you see, made it almost the whole way around the field. Very nicely. So Mark has headed back to the farm and is, I think he's currently on his way back from emptying. We are back to 80% full. So we've got our beacons on again. So as soon as he comes back, he'll be able to see that we are ready to empty. It is a really, really good amount of crop we've got on here. Very much like it. In fact, there he is over that way. So he'll be with us in a moment. I'm going to get the auger out as a result. And here he is. Mark's up beside me. And we'll get this empty. So this Red Rock trailer takes a couple of loads. And as I was saying, we are nice and it's a nice long field. So what we want to do is once we hit our 4th headland, we want to make sure we empty at that point, and I'll make sure that well, Mark knows that when I hit the 4th headland, I'm going to want to empty. That way I'll be able to cut one long run into it and empty on the return, which should work for us perfectly. Should work absolutely brilliantly for us, and it will just keep us going. Will mean that we don't have any issues going into the body of the field. And yeah, so we're gonna get switch again. We're gonna get 2 full trailers off this headland, I think. Which will be absolutely brilliant. I mean, to be at this point here, where we're not gonna lose any. Well, we'll be 20. I think it holds. Yeah, it holds about 7,000. So it's got about 14, 15,000. So 30,000 litres ish off our first headlands. Off our headlands on here is going to be absolutely brilliant. We're looking at probably having about 40, 45,000 litres in total off this field. Makes me very, very happy. That is a good amount. We'll bring in a nice amount of money for us this year. We'll also bring in a nice amount of straw, really, for us to use with our cows, which is even better news. And we'll keep the farm running quite nicely. This is our final headland we're on now, though, and so yeah, let's continue on. Let's see if we can fill up another trailer before the end of this headland, and go from there. We're on the back row again, and coming up to 80%. So let's get our auger out, because our tractor will be coming up in a moment for his second load, and hopefully that will fill it nicely. We should be able to cut in, having emptied at this point. It will be, it will work pretty well, actually. We're looking at being nearly full at the end of here. Not quite sure where he is though, because we're getting pretty full. Ah, there he comes. I see the wheels in the rear view. Just as we approach being full. And we'll have to stop here for this. In fact, let's keep going. Yeah. And this absolutely will fill this tractor. Or fill the trailer. This Red Rock is an absolutely brilliant trailer for us. Has worked very, very well. Oop. I want to make sure he's full. Yeah, he's got a little bit more to go. And that will do it. So we'll let him head off. And we're going to get this last headland done and start cutting into the crop. Because, yeah, that is now where we are. And you can see the length of the field here that we're going to cut into. And we are going to cut into the crop at the far end of the field. So we're 17% full. we want to get ourselves on a nice trajectory going down the field with about 3 or 4 cuts in it. So about here should do us nicely. Down with our header, and away we go. And just, yeah, there, absolutely perfect. Happy with that. I'm just checking my compass, but if we stay on this way here, we should be nice and straight. We've not quite cut in as far as I'd liked, maybe, but we should get at least 4 cuts out of this, which will be good. And then that will just move us across the field. But that is 2 full trailers off of the main part of this field. Oh, sorry, off the headlands. I think we're going to have at least another trailer or 2, maybe, off the actual body of this field, which will work out very well for us. It is the weeds are looking very few and far between, which is great. The yield is absolutely brilliant. We're going to have over half a tank per row in here, so we need to take that into consideration when we're doing when we're cutting in. We can cut in and not worry about it, so long as we've got about probably 60% available in the tank. Otherwise, we're going to probably have issues. But at the moment, that is working very, very nicely. And look at that. Absolutely brilliant. We'll get that going. And we'll wait for our tractor to come back. Right, we're up to 80%. We've got our beacons flashing, and Mark is coming up behind us, I think. Yeah, there we go. There's the wheels in the rear view. We'll get this emptied out, and that will that will be. So if we're doing a full tank every 2 rows on here, that is quite an achievement. That's quite a lot of that's actually a fair few more trailers we've got coming off here, which is going to be really, really good. Every 4 rows doing emptying is just gonna be an absolutely brilliant yield off here. Makes me very, very happy. Let's empty out. There we go. So we'll reverse off, and hopefully he can then move out of the way, or not. Because we need to turn around. Yeah, there we go. We'll turn around there. And I think it's the kink at the end that's sort of done us there. It's given us a position that's, well, it's given us that little bit at the end. It gets thinner and thinner the further we go down this field. So we're going to have to sort of get that before we get the next cut in, as you can see. Yeah, it's just getting thinner as we go down the field. So that's all it is. That's why it looked thinner and thinner the further we went, because it really is. It looks like there's a row though that's going to go the whole way down. So we will end up cutting most of the way down this field before we get the next cut in from the bottom end. But it's working well. As I said, we have a lot of stuff to harvest, a lot of yield, a lot of wheat still to come off this field, and it's just working well for us, which is great news. So we did leave actually quite a width of wheat down here. It also turns out it's only about 80% off 2 rows. So while it's enough for our tractor to come along and want to empty, it's not enough to do a full tank quite off there. We should hit a full tank off here, of course, and yeah, Mark is already alongside and emptying out the trailer, emptying out the combine into the trailer, so that so we can continue on. He will, yeah, so he should end up with a full tank off of this. which actually works out absolutely brilliant for us. Will allow us to go and do a cut-in with an almost empty tank. It just works so well like this. And yeah, I don't think it might not have quite a full tank. Yeah, 84%. So he will actually he won't drive on with that. He will drive at when it hits 90. So yeah, there we go. That'll be fine. We at least have a nice empty tank. It's a nice short drive, so it's all good. Let's get ourselves straight with our compass. There we go. And away we go. Now I could get, this combine is modern enough that I could get some GPS installed on it, and we may do that. To be honest, I've not really felt the need. I know, having had the TXs on this, or the TX on this farm for years, I know roughly where I need to cut in. I know how, you know, the directions and everything, and keeping myself on a nice straight even keel is not something that is all that hard on here as a result. But it works well. We're doing some good work with this, and as I said, we've already got 3 trailers full of it. That is 45,000 litres. This is over a 50,000 litre of corn field. Absolutely brilliant. Completely stunned by how well this field has actually done. So that's really good news. This is probably going to be our last cut in looking at this. We've gone a little bit further than we went with the last one, but that's all good. I am actually going to see if I can get Mark to come over and empty, because obviously he's pretty full. So give me a moment and I'll sort that. Right, I've radioed him and he should be on his way now. And we'll just top him up and get him finished off. Here he comes. So yeah, we'll just finish him off here. Just top that last sort of 10-20% into the trailer, and then he can head off and go and tip that, and I can get the rest of, or can get some more of this field done. Coming up to a full tank again, 84%. Wow, there's at least another full tank after this on this field, which is absolutely brilliant. It's 14,000 litres that our trailer holds, so it's slightly more than we have tank capacity for. So it will take 2 full tanks off this field, our trailer. And the thing is that because we're emptying as we go, we're adding that extra 600 litres to the trailer as well, by going as we move. There we go. We've stopped because we're full. And here comes the traction trailer. So once he empties us a bit, we can keep going. There he goes, and away we go. So yeah, as soon as we start emptying, we're able to start adding it on. And means we end up with about 54% in the trailer each time, which then works out well for us as well, because it means that we are then able to top the trailer off, and we have enough time for him to pop back to the farm to get the trailer unloaded and to get back, which is yeah, absolutely brilliant. It just works well, these trailers, for doing this karting. Really does. There we go, and we'll close that. And now we're opened up, it just makes everything easier to run. And we are able to just, yeah, just get the rest of this. So as I said, we've had, we're on our 4th trailer at the moment, which is just brilliant. I mean, that would be, so that's 56,000 litres of wheat off here when this trailer's full. And it is a case of when this trailer's full as opposed to if this trailer gets full. We have a, you know, there is more than enough wheat left on this field to do that. Really, really is. So I want to get that full, and we'll see where we are at that. And we're going to be getting onto the smaller part of the field with our next cutting, and cutting this next bit. I think we're about the right width for our header as well. So we should be able to get this this cut well. And our tank emptied before we do the next cutting. There we go. Really, really happy with that. That is a very, very good width that we've got on here. I'm very pleased. It's not the best of things to do, in all honesty. You don't really want it to be the exact width, but this does work pretty well for keeping it in. In fact, further down the field we have gone a little bit narrower, which is good. Means it does easily fit in the header, but it would be yeah, you don't want to quite have an exact width of the combine as your bit. Tractor and trailer is waiting for us at the bottom end of the field. We've got a few tufts, but I'm not worried about those. Those aren't going to add a huge amount. I just got to make sure I don't miss the crop in general. That would be a good idea. Right, there we go. And because he's stopped there, we'll head round and round and over to here. Should come to empty before we get to the end of this row, I think. And you can see here, not a lot that's left in sort of this extra bit at the side of the field. So, yeah, that's not going to be a whole nother tank's full. But certainly we're going to top up this tank very, very much. Up to 80%. Let's get our beacons on and our auger out. And yeah, I can see him coming up behind now. And I don't know if this will give it a this should send him high enough to actually get it finished and head off. There we go. Stop here and unload, and then we've just got that little bit left at the bottom side of the field to get done. Should be, yeah, this will be enough to send him off. We nicely went to the end of the field, so that 54%, that is really useful when you have a situation like this where we don't quite have a full tank. It means that he can then drive on with a very, very close to full tank. Just, yeah, just under 14,000 litres in that. And we can then go and cut in on this from here. And looking sharp. Looking very sharp. So I'm so pleased with how this harvest has gone. It's been an absolute joy to cut this wheat. It has yielded well. We are going to end up with a decent amount from it. You know, we're going to be over 60,000 litres off here, which is just absolutely brilliant. So pleased by that. And yeah, this is a successful start that makes me very, very happy, and will mean that we'll be able to get this all baled up as well. I'm gonna go right round because we want to come into this. Yeah, don't think we're gonna do a full width. But we'll see. No, that's wider than our combine, so that's fine. We'll leave a thin strip there that we come back for. But it's gone well. It's worked well, and as I said, we're already up to an extra. Well, we've already off this bit got nearly 2,000 litres. So it should be that we pass 60,000 litres. Worst case is going to be just under. But which is still, you know, not that bad. 60,000 litres off a single field is really, really great for us. It's going to help with us sort of paying off a little bit of debt that we've got on the farm, and improving things going into the next year. This little row here and that tuft there really are all we have to do. Everything else on this field is just minor bits. Yeah, we're over a third full, or a third of a tank on the last bit. Absolutely brilliant. And yeah. Gonna call over, I'm just gonna radio Mark. And we'll get him over so that we can empty. Mark's on his way, so I'm going to just pull over to here, get the combine off the field, and then he can come and empty from me here. Not a huge amount in tank, just 2,276 litres left that has finished the field. There we go. Emptying out, and yeah, that is where I'm going to leave it for today. And yeah, that is it for this vlog. So all that remains is for me to say thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this vlog. Please give it a like, drop us a comment, and give it a share. And for all the latest videos from the farm, please subscribe to the channel and ring that bell. And I will see you next time. Goodbye.